Alright you all, what's up and welcome back to another day of Dead Palettes Walking. It's weird, this is like going by really fast, but at the same time it's going by really slowly because it just feels so crazy to like be cranking out so many videos. But yeah, lo and behold, every time I think I'm going to get stumped and just not be able to think of a cool idea, I end up with a look that I really like this one. I feel like it's probably been done before, this whole like galaxy thing. But I felt like, you know what, I've had this Zodiac palette, which is one of my favorite palettes in my collection, if not my favorite palette. It's like, I just felt like I had to do a galaxy themed tutorial. I know BH Cosmetics has like a galaxy themed palette, but this one just, I mean, this is obviously the only one I have that has any big shadows in it, so yeah, here we are. And I feel like this is a more wearable version of like the galaxy that a lot of people do. This is definitely more toned down. It gives the impression of the galaxy idea and it has the same feel to it without like beating you over the head with it. Like, oh, this is galaxy and I put stars and everything, you know, on my eyelids. That's a little bit different. This is like a more day-to-day wearable version for those of you who do wear things like this out of the house, like me. This is definitely a more wearable version. If you wonder why I always wear this jean jacket, like when I'm trying to do something wearable, I feel like adding a denim jacket just makes it wearable. I don't know, it's probably all in my head. I did the same thing with my black lipstick tutorial, like my wearable black lipstick tutorial, but yeah, dressing it down with like a denim jacket for me is like my favorite thing to do. Just wear a crazy eye look and dress it down. Of course, I have on the pink shirt because I've got the pink. Yeah, anyway. So I'm doing another BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette tutorial because I've had quite a few of you request me to do them, like the Zodiac palette again. And like I said, this is a palette resurrection month, or 25 days of palette resurrections, but I don't think I have 25 palettes, and I definitely don't have 25 dead palettes that are dead in my opinion. And honestly, I said this in my first tutorial, I don't necessarily think this one's dead. I think people still use it. Maybe not YouTubers, but I definitely think that it is on its last leg in terms of like the hype because of course the Zodiac 2, the love signs came out. And I'm still debating on getting that at the end of my palette no buy. That's the one that I've just been really toiling over. However, I'm also thinking about getting their all matte palette because I'm curious if that matte formula has the same matte formula that's in this palette, because the matte formula in this palette is my favorite matte formula of any eyeshadow of all time. Seriously, the pastels in this palette are just absolutely perfect. I cannot criticize them at all. Like, I literally cannot think of a criticism of any of these mattes in this palette, aside from the fact that I want an entire palette of mattes like this. BH Cosmetics' mattes vary across their, you know, across their palettes. These mattes remind me a lot of the ones in the Ray Ray palette, but the Weekend Festival mattes are not the same as these. At least they don't seem like they are. But yeah, anyway, I mean, these are just more muted, kind of like the ones in the Ray Ray palette. But I swear to God, BH Cosmetics mattes, their matte formula is just incredible. And I cannot believe this brand is so affordable, like, or cheap, or whatever you want to say. Like, I can't believe it's so low cost compared to everything else that's on the market, considering just how good these are. Like, I cannot say enough good things about the matte formula in this palette. And I also really like their baked eyeshadows, but they're definitely not the standouts that the mattes are, but still, like, I love this freaking palette. I just love it. And I just recently saw that they are releasing a mini palette, the Capricorn one. I'm not sure if they're planning on doing like limited edition ones for each month from here on out, but that would be cool if they did like a new mini Zodiac every month. And then you wouldn't necessarily have to buy the big Love Signs palette or the big Zodiac palette. Maybe you could just buy like the small one that fits your taste a little better, because the formula is just incredible. I can't stress that enough. So if maybe you're not the type of person who wants a huge colorful palette or just a giant eyeshadow palette in general, perhaps you would be more interested in like their smaller Capricorn palette that just has like an array of neutrals, but hopefully the same formula, of course, that's in the other Zodiac palettes. I feel like I'm one of the biggest shit talkers in the beauty world of YouTube. Like, I'm not the type of person that will ever hold back on my opinions. You know this. So when it comes to like me professing my love for an eyeshadow palette, like, you know I'm serious. So another thing I've noticed in my eyeshadow palette no buy, where I've just been using my palettes that I have, not buying any new ones throughout the month of October. throughout the month of December, like with all the holiday releases that I may be tempted to buy. Just not being able to buy those has really made me, it's like allowed me to use the palettes that I really, really love in my collection. It's just allowing me to appreciate and love the palettes that I already have and learn new things about them, because when you're going from one palette to the next and you're just using a new thing over and over again and you're like, ooh, I love this, I love this, I love this, you don't really get a chance to like develop a deep, passionate love with any of your eyeshadow palettes, like I have this month with the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette and others. This month has done me a lot of good in terms of not buying new holiday releases. I feel like every year that's when I buy the most makeup. It's always eyeshadow palettes because I'm like, oh my god, they're limited edition, which means I have to have them because that's surely what everybody's going to be talking about for the next year to come. It's all the limited edition holiday releases. That's not how it works. Everybody just freaking forgets about all of them. We all know this. But yeah, anyway, I hope you all like this tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started. So first, as usual, I'm going to prime my eyes with concealer, and then I'm going to set it just with whatever powder is like left on my setting brush. Then I'm going to go into the Virgo pink shade, the matte shade in the BH Cosmetics palette. I'm using this Sonia Kashuk 109 brush. It's just like a natural hair fluffy brush, really, like a really loosely packed fluffy brush, because these shadows are pretty pigmented, so yeah, that's what I found works the best with them. But honestly, you can use any brush with these because these shadows are perfect. Anyway, I'm going to put that all over my crease, up onto my brow bone, pretty much everywhere, just making sure I have the shape the way I want it. Then I'm going into that plum shade on this little Morphe 506 brush. And I'm going to put that on the outer corner of my eye, very messily, into my crease. I don't want to drag it out as far as the pink, but it's still going to take up a good amount of space on my eyelid as well as my brow bone. So it's not going to go as far out, but the way I'm doing this look, I'm building it from the inside out, if you will. And every shade that I put down, I'm just going to use a smaller brush. It's going to get progressively smaller and closer to my eye socket as we go. So yeah, I'm going to take that fluffy brush back in and blend it out a little bit too, just to make sure it's nice and blended. Then I'm going to go into the dark purple shade, I believe it's Taurus, using this little pencil brush by Morphe. And again, not getting that as far up as I did the plum shade, but I am still going to bring that into my eye socket and definitely onto my eyelid. And I'm going to draw that line in my eye socket before I go in and just blend out the edge a little bit with this little blending brush after that. Then I'm taking an even smaller brush by Cosette, this little tiny pencil-y long pencil brush. It's a very dense brush. Going into Aries, which is the matte black in the palette. And I'm going to be kind of careful with this. I'm once again going straight into my eye socket, but I'm not going to bring it in as far as the purple on my lid. I just want to keep that as like one big arc from my inner corner to my outer corner, going through my crease, but not anywhere else, as best I can. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with that little fluffy brush again and just blend that out until I'm happy with the blend. Then for the fun part, I'm going to go into Cancer, and I'm going to put that on my finger because that's the way I found these shadows apply best, really, in my personal opinion. And I'm just going to put that all over my lid, trying to steer clear of the inner and outer corner as best I can, but still at the same time blending it over a little bit of that darkness just to give the dimension of the galaxy look that I'm going for. So after doing my foundation and everything, I'm going to go into that plum shade again, or the dark purple shade, sorry. And I'm going to put that on a pencil brush, and I'm going to follow that line from my top lid. It's almost like making a football shape. If you're only looking at the dark purple and you just follow that around my eyelid, it's like I'm making a football shape with it. Move it, football head. Then I'm going to take a tiny, tiny little detail brush by Real Techniques. I'm just going to take that matte black, put that right up next to my waterline, not on my waterline, because I haven't really been putting eyeliner on my waterline lately. Yeah, it just smudging that up there just to darken up right next to my waterline and the base of my lashes. Going back into the pink shade with that little fluffy brush, and I'm gonna blend out my lower lash line there pretty generously. I'm not holding back on the pink because I definitely still want that pink halo look, the fuzzy pink blurriness. Technical terms. I'm actually going to be deepening up the inner corner of my eye as opposed to highlighting it. Then I'm going to take that shimmery shade on this tiny little Real Techniques liner brush. I'm going to knock off as much of the excess glitter as I can, and then I'm going to tuck that liner brush up under my lashes. If you can see what I'm doing here, I know my lashes are really transparent, but I'm tucking that liner up under my lashes to get close to my lash line. And there's the finished look before I apply mascara. And when I do apply mascara, it took me forever to decide if I even wanted to wear it or not. I'm going to put a very light coat on. I'm not going to clump my lashes up. I don't want them to be clumpy. I don't want them to cover up any of the work I just put into this eye look. So I'm putting a very, very light coat of mascara on. I cannot stress that enough. And I'm making sure all of my lashes are separated as opposed to clumped together.
Ever since the day that you went away, you've been sending flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. Flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms.
Alright you all, thank you so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already and you want to be. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll link that in the description box. If you'd like to become a patron of mine on Patreon, I will link that in the description box as well. I'm also going to link the playlist to my Dead Palettes Walking 25 Days of Palette Resurrections. Trademark. I'm going to link that playlist in the description box if you want to get caught up or if you want to like watch any of my past resurrections this month. Alright y'all, anyway, thank you so much again for watching and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.